is there anything else you want on sustainable CT, or?
Just that we have category 8 assigned to us, so
Okay.
as we take like the first 15 minutes of every meeting, we can probably talk more about how that all fits in.
And then did they, in the meetings you've attended, did they show you how we upload our info?
Well, we
or-
can't, Josh is gonna do that, we send
Okay.
everything to him,
Okay.
and then he'll enter it all. Right, is that?
Correct. Yep. Yeah, and you probably mentioned, and I apologize, April 1st is sort of our
Our
sort of unofficial deadline. That's the goal, to get everything submitted in each category. What I'll do is when Josh shares, he'll probably share it with you as well, but if he doesn't, I'll make sure all of you get in the know. We had a good meeting today. We missed you, sorry.
I heard I got signed up for some stuff.
Yes, we did.
That's the problem when you miss one.
Right. So whatever Josh's notes end up being in a format, I will share with you guys. And like I said, I think it's a lot of things you've already done, so it's just checking boxes. It should be very easy.
And providing
And then
the
we just have to,
documentation.
correct.
Yeah.
This is why you were there. Thank you, Amanda. Good job. Yeah.
Shall we move on from sustainable CT, or Renee, do you have more questions on how?
I don't, so we're all assigned to category 8? Okay.
And if we can find any other documentation for like the EV charging stations for that category, I think it's 6.4. But I think with, so in the meeting today, Lance, Josh asked if John had ever gone to any training, and he did attend an event,
Right.
too, and we were wondering if that would maybe classify as
Yep.
training.
Do you have any of the information about those events?
I didn't really pick up anything other than the fact that the only one I have is for the Windsor Town Hall was the picture that the guy took of me in
Okay.
in the Mustang.
I would say if anything you can document about what the program details were, the date, obviously, if there was an agenda, anything, I don't know, if it was a long time ago, maybe not, but a lot of those things you can find online as well. That should still be available. That's part of what, we'd have to look at what the specifications are and the breakdown of what they require, and that'll be what I'd end up sending you guys to.
Well, I also had to do with incorporate their butterflies things, because they had that's kind of like an Earth Day thing. They try and mix it with an Earth Day, like the next one coming up in April.
Mhm.
That's an Earth Day, but they're gonna have flowers and stuff for selling and
Okay.
whatever, and the cars.
Didn't you say you went to a program about chargers earlier tonight?
Well, it wasn't really a program about chargers. I went over to Electric Tech over in Ellington and went through their whole infrastructure, learned about charging stations and,
Was that a public thing, or you just went?
no, they invited me. I got an invite to that.
So that probably counts.
Oh, there you go.
It's worth noting.
I mean, he went to learn more information about
Yep.
chargers and aiding in support of vehicles.
Yes, John is our resident subject matter expert.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
And then I believe, unless it was the EDC, that
Huh?
first meeting, I think it was the very first meeting I went to, you had coordinated the speaker about the different electric.
Well, yeah, I had, Paul Young was with
Paul
Juice
Young.
Bar. And then John Stone from Electric Tech, he was the one from Electric Tech that was in the.
We had two people here speaking.
Yeah, he was the second speaker.
Those are worth noting. That must have been back in October. I can look up
Well,
and see.
it might have been
We could
before
probably look
that.
at our agenda.
Might have been
Yeah.
September.
Dan.
It
I
was
think
fairly
in the
the
warm.
first one
minutes.
was like August, and then the
Oh, I
second one
would've
must
missed
have
that
been
one then.
October,
But-
I wasn't here.
Oh, maybe it was October then. I don't know.
It was like one of the very first night meetings I went to, you guys had that speaker. But I didn't remember if it was this meeting or if it was at the Economic Development. Was it them who hosted? I really don't remember.
Oh, I don't know. I wasn't here for the second speaker, only Paul Young.
Okay, then, yeah, it was
And that
probably
was, I think, August
Or when,
timeframe.
September.
So we would have those in our minutes as like, I mean, to
Yeah.
support that we had
Yeah.
people out to talk about that, right?
I don't know, are they in the minutes?
And
Should
Paul's
be.
was televised. So we have like the footage from that, like,
Okay,
you
cool.
can't see him, but you can hear him. So that proves that he was here.
We had a
Anywho.
presentation from Earthlink, right?
Yeah, that's what it was, Earthlink. What's his name on there?
Oh,
John
John-
Stone?
Yeah, John Stone. I think I have his card too.
Okay.
Okay, so shall we move on to our bear talk? So Jen, I know you were working on the bio.
So that's actually done. Candace made, Paul sent his bio, and he sent a picture, and he sent the name of his talk. And, so we have like a flyer that's ready. The only thing I wanted to ask all of you about is, the technology part. Cause the pollinator woman doesn't want to use like the YouTube thing that they use for your meetings. Because it would be out there and people could look at it, and you have to pay for her to come, so she doesn't want it to be like out there. So I thought maybe we could practice with the bear guy what we're gonna do with her to see if it works. So what Josh and Terry upstairs suggested was that we could use the town has like a Zoom account, and I guess would we have like a computer facing the speaker?
So actually, I mean, if we
Like, how
wanna
would that-
talk about the technology, I mean, I brought my computer for that reason, because I knew that the man was gonna be coming to talk about the bears, to try it out. So, I mean, we can do that tonight, or, I don't know, right after the
'Cause I
meeting.
guess
you
if
want.
we-
I mean, my computer does not have a, HDMI port, so I actually brought a converter with me, so that way you can, you know, put the HDMI in, and then the other end does go in to the computer. So I was gonna try it out and see if it works, because not all computers have that port that you need. That's
Do you have a
there.
couple of USB ports?
Yes.
Because I have like a microphone that maybe could help also. But so I guess, yeah, what I was thinking was if we established the Zoom codes now, we could put them on the flyer, right?
Oh, that's a good idea.
And then,
Create a meeting or something.
and then whoever, so let's say Renee was sitting there facing the speaker, you could let people enter the Zoom meeting? Is that how it could work?
Well, for the bear talk,
Well, I was thinking we could try to do the same thing with both, just to,
So basically, like people who would be home watching on cable or YouTube or whatever,
But have
instead
them
of that for the flower
Zoom.
lady through Zoom,
Right.
because she doesn't want people to have access to it later on.
right, so I was thinking if we did it with the bear talk, then we could work out any kinks and do the same thing 2 weeks later. So,
I mean, we can try it, we could play around with it and see what
So you have
happens.
to have a camera that would be facing, say, the screen, to put it on Zoom. You have to have an administrator that lets people in and mutes them so they can't comment.
is that the same person who's doing
Well,
both?
see, I'm not sure how you do it with two different computers, that's the
Can
point.
you do it with one?
Well, that computer that's doing this could be another user, maybe. Because you have to have one person that's the
Well,
administrator.
if he's gonna share a slideshow, then we may have to do it, is Paul gonna share a slideshow?
Probably.
Yeah, then we may need, I don't know if we could, may have to be on his computer then, or maybe he could give us the slideshow whoever's computer we're gonna use, it makes sense.
I'm just saying, it's not gonna be great for the people at home. We just have one person on computer there with a camera,
Yeah,
just showing
yeah.
him and the slideshow.
You
Yeah.
could have just somebody, like, have him do his thing and have somebody else
Right.
with literally a phone and just, you know, show like what he's doing, what he's talking about. It's gotta be someone with a steady hand, obviously.
No, but that, why not do it with a computer?
Or you could do it with a computer,
So, like-
but,
So I'm sitting here with my computer with the camera, and I can see Paul and the thing, right? And I'll set my little microphone so it sounds better. But the question I have with all of you is, does that mean I'm also the administrator and like let people into the Zoom?
that would be hard. Like, I feel like there should be two people, because he's gonna be focused on his bear talk. So I think, like, right? So are we talking like?
Yeah, it shouldn't be Paul.
He has his
He-
own, no, I'm
yeah,
saying
no,
me,
yeah.
or someone else.
Right.
Is here filming.
See,
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
I think you need two people, because your laptop has a front-facing camera.
Oh,
It doesn't have
oh,
camera on the cover.
right.
It's not
You
like your
can,
phone.
mine can flip.
On your thing.
Yeah.
You have two cameras on your laptop? One that faces you and one that faces out?
Well, I have,
Yeah,
a-
it's
I,
right here,
Oh.
right here, and right here.
So
Well, see-
are you comfortable?
Yeah, I'm comfortable with it, but I just wanna make sure that, well, here's
So
the.
he would have his computer hooked up to that,
Mm-hmm.
and you would have your computer.
That would
hang
just
out.
be doing the,
Zoom.
Video and
Video.
Zoom.
yeah,
Where's the remotes?
that would be fine. Well, here's, but he would have his computer plugged in, I don't think, because
No, I
think
know,
his
yours-
computer-
so yours
'cause
wouldn't-
his computer has to be projected onto the projector,
Right.
screen, so mine wouldn't be.
Right. So you only need to,
You just want to turn them on?
Just turn it on.
I don't have access to Wi-Fi, that's the only thing over here.
But what if you just turn on your camera? Is that what you're saying, Willie? So if I'm a speaker, can you see me and, is that what you
Well,
want?
she'll know that.
Right. So if you put your camera on, Renee.
well, I have a separate camera that runs off a USB port. I could
Okay.
bring that in,
Okay,
you know, and that could be,
that would work. That would actually work well because then,
yeah.
yeah. So I'll bring my microphone, you bring your camera.
What time is it on March 9th? 7:30?
See, I think the flip is right here, so now it's
I,
flipped,
you gotta go together.
Are we
So-
set for 7:30 that night?
See now,
I thought it was 7.
Is it 7?
I was asking because I missed
The only
last
reason
night.
I said 7 is, I thought 7 was because all the meeting, you know, like Board of Ed and then the Board of Select people and
put it
all
down.
But we'll get here earlier than that, probably 6:30 or something.
it's gonna be.
That's probably a good idea.
No, prop it up.
So we'll bring some,
What day is the?
so we'll bring some books or something?
I don't know.
I mean, I can find
It
yours.
needs to go up higher.
Tripod of sorts.
Stack of books.
But you know what, if John brings his camera, we won't have to worry about it, cause it,
We had a podium
Right,
right
join
there.
There was a podium. I should ask
Yeah,
Glenn
it's
what happened to
gone.
it.
Because then you could just set it right here,
Mhm.
we can have it over there, and
That's a
then,
good idea.
like, how do you want? Oops, I just lost it.
I'll bring my laptop too,
All right.
just in case we need,
See, hooking up
Just have a
to
backup
the
and-
system in here is no big problem. Everybody does it, they just plug in, your PowerPoint goes up there,
but we want the speaker to be able to do that, right?
if she wants, here we go.
Okay, so yeah, that'd be better because. Okay, but you just want it on the screen there, or do you wanna see him too?
Well, can you do both?
Well,
If he's in front of the
If
screen.
he's in front of the screen, I can, if he's got like one of those things to switch his slides, I don't know if he does or not. I mean, this looks pretty good,
I
actually.
can bring one of those from school too.
The way it is right now, you could just leave it right here.
You
and
can
connect
borrow
to
it.
Yes.
Liberate
That's
it.
Come here, I'll
Okay.
switch with you.
All right,
You, take a look.
that would work really well. That's good.
Yeah?
Yeah. I think it is. So, so I guess we need to, who in town does the Zoom I guess Josh and Terry. I'll ask Josh and Terry to set up 2 Zoom things for those 2 nights, right?
So, I guess the question boils down to, the Zoom is gonna go where?
So let's say one of us gets COVID, but we still want to see the thing.
But if you have Charter TV,
Well,
Charter cable, you
Zoom's
can
too
get it
weird.
anyways.
I think you get a
No,
link
'cause-
in your email, or
Right, you have to get,
you just
right, but I'm
click
just
on it
saying,
and it'll
if
pull
it's,
it
We're
up.
not gonna do the YouTube thing.
well, no, this isn't YouTube. This goes out to cable TV.
It's YouTube
It
as
still
well,
does
though.
that?
Oh,
Gets
automatically?
recorded. Yep.
Oh, well, then just turn YouTube
You'd have
on.
Right.
Well, the pollinator woman wants to make sure it's not recorded.
Right, so just,
That's fine. We can.
So
Set
does
something
Charter
with it.
get recorded somewhere?
well, we could do Zoom.
No,
We could
there's
do
a-
the computer thing
Right.
for the pollinator woman who's gonna come
And
here.
turn that
And we
off,
could do
right?
that, right, and then we can do so that'll be Zoom, hers will
Uh-huh.
be via Zoom.
Well, you could
And
live
this
stream.
one-
So this is for cable.
I'm sorry, you finish yours.
So we are being recorded.
Sorry, and this one could be
And
the
this
Bear
one
Talk,
is
he
for-
doesn't mind, right?
I don't know, I forgot to
Okay.
ask him about that.
Oh,
Yep.
okay, so we have to
So I need to
him.
ask him.
Well, because I think you can still live stream onto YouTube without it being recorded and saved for later.
reality is, if she's worrying about being recorded, you can record Zoom.
That's true.
And the other thing is, if it did get recorded, we could always delete it. It doesn't have to stay on the Zoom channel, I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Channel?
the YouTube channel for the town.
But I think the Zoom quality is not gonna be great, cause it's not. Whereas if you are doing that, aren't those pictures all like,
I don't know, I'm looking at it right now, and it doesn't seem that, well, maybe because half the lights are off, but
no, that's true, I
it
agree,
doesn't seem
yeah.
that
I almost
clear.
wonder.
No, you're right.
Oh no, yeah, I can't. Okay, you guys probably already did that. Sorry.
Yeah, okay.
I was hoping just those.
Did we have the room reserved for the Bear Talk?
Mm-hmm.
And for the pollinator.
What
And
day
for
is the pollinator?
So the pollinator is March 23rd, so I think it's a Thursday,
Thursday.
7 p.m.
And that's here.
Yep,
That's right.
And,
6 PM?
7.
That's-
See on YouTube.
and the Bear Talk, I'm sorry, I know this is. all
It's March 9th. So,
At 7.
yep, so Candace, because she has all the info, can put it on her little Friends of Main Street thing, and I guess I can give it to someone at Town Hall to put on Town Hall.
Yeah, Josh.
Josh.
We should
Okay.
print it.
Or I mean, Terry probably would do it too.
Josh.
Bring them to.
But should I get,
places.
but I should get a Zoom code at least for the 23rd, right, before we print? Yeah,
Probably, yeah.
but I can send you all the flyer for the bear thing right now.
Okay.
Yeah. Send flyer for, cause it's pretty much
I mean,
ready.
depending on her comfort level, we could do the Zoom for like a little while and then turn it like, you know what I mean? Turn it off if like
But will
she
the
feels like she doesn't
Zoom-
wanna be.
Oh, but you said like in
She
case,
said Zoom was okay.
Oh, okay.
in case somebody got COVID and still wanted to join, that's right.
Well, basically, for the pollinator woman, we got money from the Norfolk Land Trust, the Conservation District, the Highland Lake Group, the Winchester Land Trust, and so I want them to be able to publicize it and say people could watch from home if
Okay,
they wanted
gotcha.
to,
That
like they
makes
didn't want them here. So that actually brings up the question of, do we have some money for, cause the town,
do.
we do?
Yes.
Okay,
I found that out from last match. You have a little bit of a budget, and we
Okay.
actually put in for more for this coming year. I did.
Cool.
Yeah.
So we can wrangle like $100.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right.
Yep.
Okay.
And what would be entailed with like that request for money?
So it's usually an invoice, but
I should send
Let
you
me
her
ask.
invoice, or,
but you won't have a. She's asking what, a few $100s for, and then you're having a
it's,
few.
each group is paying
Yeah.
100.
We could come up with something creative, and I can ask financial. I'm
Okay.
sure that'll be fine. I'll do that tomorrow, so I don't forget.
All right, I'll send you probably.
So do you wanna double check with the Bear Talk and see if he wants to do a Zoom?
Yeah, or if he's okay with the live stream.
Okay.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
then, yeah, after we know that, then we'll get the Zoom code and then put it on the flyers and then we can all
So,
distribute.
let's say, how do you watch a Board of Ed meeting from home? Like, how do?
I don't know, I'm not at home when I have to be on that.
So,
My husband does jump onto, YouTube.
all right. So Willie, how do people get to how do they navigate to, like, if we wanted to put that on the Bear thing that people could watch?
On what?
Oh, from YouTube?
Yeah.
Here, it's actually quite
It's
easy.
I think it's there's a Winchester, town link for all of the meetings, so
Yeah.
it would probably be
On the-
broadcast
on
on
the
the
town
Winchester
website.
town,
Are you
So
there now?
on the app, are we? Let's see.
on YouTube, so on YouTube
I'm not on
there's.
Wi-Fi, so.
So someone would go to YouTube.
Let me look, yeah, if you go to YouTube and you just like put in like Winchester Board of Ed, it'll come
Usually
up
the
with-
date is what I usually will pull up, and then it'll.
Yeah,
Shows, like, all the meetings.
All right, are we there
different
now?
Postings. Yep, this is the town YouTube
No, no,
page.
Is this
No, we're
meeting?
not.
It-
Well, I don't
I
know,
don't-
I'm not on Wi-Fi, so it would
Oh.
take
I think
a
it gets
while.
recorded, and then once we end, then it
Oh, wait,
goes. It loads
yes,
up.
we're live.
Oh, we are live.
yeah, we are live.
Okay.
It
So
goes-
someone would like go
Okay.
into YouTube and they would type in Town of Winchester.
It does.
I'm so not tech
So
savvy.
I guess my question for everyone is, should we put that on the Bear flyer that people
Absolutely.
can
You got
do that?
something.
Depending on
he says-
if he says it's okay.
Okay.
Let's ask him first, cause
Then we
it'll
could add
be either a Zoom link,
Okay.
and then the person, we're gonna have to find out, like, if it is on my computer, or
Mhm.
whose ever computer, it just has, we have to just make sure that that person is the admin
The
for that, the
host.
host for
Okay.
the Zoom, that's important, that
Okay.
we have host access.
Okay.
See if we have anybody watching us.
And then I guess I would just send that same info to Kurt Moffett. And Emily, is it still Emily?
Yep, Emily would appreciate it.
At the register?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I would say Andy too, but maybe not Winchester Citizen.
Cause they're just getting started.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when can we anticipate that we're gonna have the flyers ready to go out?
Next, by the end of the weekend, I guess, because I'll email Paul and ask him about the live stream, and if he says fine, then I just add a sentence that says, go to YouTube, type in Town of Winchester, and you can see the live stream or something like that.
Right, like live stream at YouTube/Town of Winchester.
Okay. Send me that in an email. Okay. All right. And then do we need Candace to maybe put it in because she made the flyer? Or can you modify her flyer?
I wouldn't be comfortable
Okay.
creatively doing that to somebody
Yeah.
else's
All right, so we'll
effort.
get Candace involved and
I wouldn't wanna step on.
so she's
toes.
really fast. She's amazing.
Yeah, she is. All right. Cool deal. Here's the agenda.
So,
There we are.
and we're all gonna be there for the
So I wouldn't forget
Yes.
the cable network too.
Oh, okay, so Amanda, so how would you word that in our little,
I don't know what channel it's on, 197 maybe?
194, isn't it?
194?
I think so.
on charter?
Charter,
Charter.
194.
Channel,
Sweet, what kind of,
channel 194 on charter.
I'm on board, but.
Amanda, you got that? So we'll have, on that little line you're gonna give me, it's also gonna say, channel 194 on charter.
Okay.
But as Renee said, I'll ask Paul if that's okay. If
Yep.
he's, yeah. If he's willing to be live.
Okay. All right.
Are you doing-
And- Go ahead.
Oh, I was just looking at the agenda, I was gonna ask Jen if she was doing the compost education.
Oh, wait, let's firm up a little bit more on
Okay,
the
sorry.
Go ahead. So we are set for 7 p.m. March 23rd for the pollinator talk. And, like, can we invite anyone to that? Okay.
Yeah. So same thing, like, I'm kind of trying to get, she gave me like a lot of info, so I'm trying to condense, like Paul gave me one little paragraph, which is perfect, so I'm trying to condense it, and she has a picture, so I guess I just have to get that info to Candace, and then I have to get a Zoom code from Terry and Josh, and then Candace can put a
Okay.
thing together, and then we can start publicizing that too.
Cool.
This is gonna be at what time?
So I'm just trying to be consistent with all the meetings here, like just 7 o'clock.
That's a good time.
Okay, so
That's
then, if
figure
there's
about an
more than
hour.
2 of us gonna be there, do we have to have an agenda? And post it?
It's not a, this is an event, it's not a,
Okay,
yeah.
Not a
I mean,
meeting. It's
we
not a
could,
meeting.
actually, it's probably not a bad idea to do it, but,
For both?
well, no, we don't have to post it with the paper. No, I'm taking that out. That's okay.
We just say that the meeting is canceled in lieu of the bear event or something, something like that, so that the public knows that we're
Yeah,
not having a
maybe.
meeting because we're having an event instead.
And it's also a different time.
Nice job. Yes, okay.
Awesome.
I will ask Pam just to note that, and I don't think it has to go on the paper. I don't,
well, it's not to go in the paper, but it has to be posted on the town
Right.
website as an agenda.
yeah, thank you. It's only the public hearing. I'm getting myself confused.
Yes.
Okay.
And now we've moved on to Jen's compost education
Oh.
proposition.
So excited.
I don't really have anything except that I visited some people who are doing composting in Bridgeport for, I think they're up to like 100 families or something, and people pay and it gets picked up once a week or something, and they have basically like 5-gallon buckets with lids, and they like leave it out, and then these people like switch it out, and they're doing it on like a space the size of where this carpet is, like really small, but they have some pretty complex machinery to like turn it and stuff. So it's this really small grassroots group that's just trying to get all the food waste out of the trash. And I asked Jim Rollins if we could have some space at the town public works, and he said, well, if it was really small and we figured out how they told me they're not having a huge problem with animals, but Jim thinks there will be
Well,
rats.
that was Bridgeport.
I have an idea.
Yes, but he thinks maybe because they're mixing in a large quantity of leaves and tree stuff from tree people, and he thinks maybe that's why they're avoiding that. But they're, I mean, if we went on a field trip, it's really impressive, and they're getting a lot of grants, but it's a lot of work, and there's no money in it, I guess, unless you charge people to collect their I don't know, but.
I have it's kind of the same, but it's different. When I was substituting at Pearson and Hinsdale, the amount of food that these kids throw away is, anyway, but a lot of it is fruits and vegetables that are in plastic, and I was talking to Amanda, and I thought maybe we could present something to the Board of Ed and see if maybe we could hook up with one of our local farmers, and maybe like one day a week each school in town saves their fruits and vegetables, and they can come and like feed their pigs with it, or feed, like Howling Flat Farm in Canaan. I mean, she has pigs. She has.
Believe it or not, there are really complex laws, because at my school, there is a pig farmer right there, and he cannot bring it to his pigs.
Really? That's awful.
Because, do you remember what it is?
Trichinosis.
Oh.
It has to be cooked, boiled, all that stuff before a farmer can pick up commercially available waste.
Wow.
I'm not talking about like all food scraps. I'm talking about like
No.
an apple or carrot sticks or
It's super
just,
frustrating, but I've asked this guy a couple times at my school, because he has pigs, and he's in the calf, and he sees it, and he cannot take it.
That's
It's
bonkers.
illegal.
Is that like a Connecticut thing, or like an FDA?
I think it's USDA.
What
That's
if
what I
we
meant,
take,
thank you.
what if we take it from the schools and just bring it to Jim's Rollin?
Well, but, I mean, this is like a long term, like, we have to figure this out, but theoretically, Jim is not against the idea, but it's gonna take like a lot of research
Yeah,
and field trips and,
Well, in the Sustainable Connecticut, there's that portion for grants. Maybe we can apply for one, it's like it's a match grant, though, like you have to raise money and apply for it. But that seems like a fairly expensive endeavor that maybe we can,
Has anybody seen the Republican today, or maybe it was yesterday, about Gordon Ridgway in Salisbury? He started he started a composting thing, and now he's gonna go after grant money. And it's working out great for him. I don't know after they compost it, but they're using a lot of leaves. And
what's his name?
Gordon Ridgway, he's the first selectman of Salisbury.
So if we did something with compost, could we use the fruits, like the apples?
Yeah, yeah,
for
yeah,
that? I mean, you just
yes.
can't use it for livestock then,
Correct.
is that right?
correct, yep.
So I mean, it still could go,
No, everybody's
for-
talking about like Litchfield, they're trying to do it in their schools and a lot of the towns around us, they're sending their stuff to these huge, like multi-million-dollar anaerobic digesters, like these. So there are companies out there that you can partner with that help you collect it and get it. The advantage of those is you can put anything in, like meat and bones, and like you can put any food.
Oh, in the
Because it's
anaerobic?
so hot.
Okay, yep.
But some are going like really low tech with just turning over piles, like not that different from what you do in your house. But I
Yeah.
think there's a little more to it. Jim Rollins seems to know quite a bit.
composting is really, like, I don't know, I just find it difficult from what I read about it, cause I was gonna do it myself. It's a lot of work and you kinda have to have the right,
Mix.
I'm
Mix.
lazy about it, but I have like 3 different piles going. It's just, it's insane, like how much you don't throw away, like when you do it. Like
Yeah.
it's just,
It's like 20 or 30% of garbage.
and then like I'll give my
It's like a
chickens like leftovers that no one wants to. Like so, I mean, I'm proud of what I do at my house for my family, but you know, like, but I mean, it's true. If everyone does a little bit, it really adds up. I mean, I don't know, like.
When I was on a farm, we threw everything in a pile. Just took the
I just
tractors and
do-
ran over it, recycled it.
Right, you
shells,
just
coffee.
Started it.
yeah, yeah,
That was even coffee grounds.
yeah, yeah.
Grounds can go,
I think we keep the conversation going,
Yeah.
like periodically.
It has to be
like-
something we can get going. Yeah.
I think we can. I think it's just gonna take some time and effort.
More research into what
Yeah.
we can do, what's legal, what's not.
This just popped into my head, and I've done this before with some other volunteer work I used to do. But I could like sew a quilt, and we could sell raffle tickets for it or something. Like I've done that before, so just not.
Like for the fundraising
Like
component?
I raise dogs for Guiding Eyes for the Blind, so I would do a lot of sewing for them, and that's what we would do. We would sell raffle tickets for a quilt, or stuff like that. I mean, I don't know, but if we have to match money for a grant, I mean, maybe there's a way we can
Can
think
bake bread.
think of think of different fundraising things. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, but anyway.
Is there any way with our 4 plots that we have kicking around town that we can get people to plant food in there? And then take whatever they don't, whatever's no good, use that scraps for taking down to wherever Rollins wants it.
Depends on which land.
So I finally saw the community gardens on Stowe Road. I don't know if anybody's been up there.
I've been
I
up
was-
there.
Which road?
On Stowe Road, it's kind of like right near the Barkhamsted town line. Town
Oh,
actually,
town
Way on
Yes.
top of, yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
Okay.
yeah.
and the town actually owns land into Barkhamsted, which is kind of interesting. Found out there's like 30 acres that the town has.
community
Quick
garden.
line.
We have a community garden.
I know, we should check it out.
We have a community garden.
Yeah, that's what I said
It's
to
in the
Jim.
middle of nowhere.
Not a lot of
Who
people.
can use it?
You literally talk to Jim Rollins and you pay, I don't know what it was, and you get a key. And you have a clock.
Locked. Okay.
Yeah, it's a locked gate. It's, well,
How big is this?
I don't know a lot of the details, and this is why I was thinking maybe it would be good for you guys to take it on, but it's actually kind of cool. Somebody did a nice job laying that out, and I was
Field
sort of
trip.
impressed. Now
Linda?
there's,
Yeah,
we should. That would be good. It's,
So you dig up the earth and stuff?
yep. Somebody laid out some really nice beds originally. I guess it gets very wet, so using compost probably would help those sites. So the people who still are actively using it, they know to just contact Jim. And in the springtime, they go up and they,
Well, there are people using it?
I guess there are,
Oh, I
yeah.
didn't think there anybody using it.
yeah. So I didn't even realize that that's who
Field trip
coordinated.
Is there any kind of machinery up there?
No,
There's a water tank.
there's a water tank. He said that it cracked, so
Oh.
the town hasn't been
Okay.
filling it again.
Mm-hmm.
But it's kind of an interesting spot. It's just weird that it's so far out of center of town. That's the unfortunate part about it. But there are potentially some new opportunities for more community
I don't
gardens.
think he'd want it behind his place on Raleigh Street.
That's a
contaminated.
challenging spot, yeah.
The floodplain anyway.
In the corner of Lake Street and Meadow is contaminated soils as well. So, yeah, good old city. We'll find a spot though.
Well, Lance, we have time for your update.
Yay! And I guess I'm really apologious that I was late, and I won't keep you guys past 6. Monday night was an excellent meeting. There is a core group who want to get this going. They're very passionate. So I think 6 of the 10 that were there are all recreation board members. So we started as a subcommittee. That's how I came into the fold and introduced myself. And Monday officially became a friends group. So if you're not aware of the friends group, it's usually a 501c3. You go in for nonprofit status so you can fundraise. Well, Tanya, who's the recreation director, actually already has an account set up through her program that she can do that. So whether they not want to go the full, there's 20 steps that the Friends of Connecticut State Parks has, and they actually finished 3 that night. So Tetros Pond, which everybody knows it as, is technically now
Drum
Tetro
roll.
Park.
What is
So
it?
we're putting it Tetro Park.
Nice.
It's gonna get a park designation finally. And then hopefully what will catch is the pond at Tetro Park that people will start calling it. I'm sure it'll be still Tetro's Pond. But formally and advertisingly, and that it will have a new name, which will hopefully have a new sign. That would be a goal. The strategy is to clean up the site like they do every year for the fishing derby. So that's in May. We have a few dates. Actually, anybody's interested, February 25th is the next date I threw out to the group. I said, I will be back out there. And we're just going to bring some rakes, shovels, kind of clean off the pavement. I've taken a kind of a quick inspection from Pastor. We did a field walk originally. I think I told you guys last time. This one, just to kind of see how badly it is. It's actually not terrible. And then we just want to find if there's any scary garbage before we encourage any cleanup efforts to make sure that is gone before. And then the big stuff like the trailer that's chained there, that would be the next goal in March when they get together for that cleanup. I think it's on the 18th.
There's a trailer there?
Yeah, there's a trailer that the previous owner, when the town acquired that land, and he had it chained to 2 posts. I mean, it's not a big deal, but you just have to figure out how to get rid of it. And then, literally, I mean, just getting like the tire out of the stream, it's not terrible. It's, you know, when I look through my pictures, I'm like,
It's not as bad as the Still River?
So, so they're very gung ho, and literally probably March, as long as the weather cooperates, they want to be in there very actively, with a thought around Earth Day to do a cleanup with volunteers to have it ready for May, and then the question becomes, okay, who's maintaining this? Now you probably heard from the selectmen, which John gave me a heads up, and I appreciate. They don't think of this as a priority for spending money. Totally understand. But leaving it the way it is, not okay. So that's why this friends group, I think, is the most important thing to do. I've already gone out and assessed, there's about 13 trees in the entryway that should be removed, which will help open up that visual so it's not such a scary place, or whatever place, to do bad behaviors. So that was the first step. I talked to Jim Rollins. He's okay with what I'm pitching, but obviously we have to ground truth and all that. And then we were talking about some excavation, trying to open up that entryway as well, which would include adding more parking, and then potentially parking up above the top along Walnut. So very basics for any kind of site planning, but like these are the conversations they had. And then you probably saw, I think we talked about it maybe last time, I can't remember when I saw you. I did Billy Goat the end of the mountain. And I was worried I was gonna get to the ledge and that would be it. I just have to turn around. There is a path. So as Miss Jennifer is cautioningly telling me, I definitely want to talk with Gilbert Foundation and what their thoughts are. And I know they're going to have some concerns, and that's absolutely fine, totally just. But if we could end up making a trail that connects into their trail, I think there's just two amenities that would be great to advertise for the town. Because I mean, people who here are probably already using that trail. It's very well maintained along the top. It's not along the ridge. There's an interior trail that's very safe. And I believe cross-country kids are already utilizing it. Okay. See, I don't know these things, but as I'm exploring, I'm finding out. And the ridge itself is very important. This is one thing I've already talked with Michael. I think I may give it a heads up. We've kind of identified 3 priority areas for ridgeline protection. And in my mind, that's probably one of the key ones, because literally when you're driving into town from 44, that's what you see. I mean, that is, so to have, excavation or trees removed, that would be a shame. And that's happening in other towns. So I think town needs to be very proactive before we get an application like that. It doesn't limit what you guys want to do with the property. It's just basically if they were going to do an open space subdivision with the ridgeline protection as the goal. They're crazy slopes, so I mean it's not super easy to do it, but it does happen. And then if the nice thing about that 100-acre plus is there's only like one other landowner, and you're actually getting very close to Colebrook. So if you're looking at a long potential Blue Blaze trail system, it could connect down to Tetros Pond. See, I did it myself. The pond at Tetros Park, and then into potentially what we're proposing along the Still River, which we still haven't had a chance to talk about, the Still River Greenway project. Then that's not just its own little entity out there for hiking. It would actually be into a larger system. So that's the thoughts. And hopefully Winchester Trails is gonna maybe something that you guys would want to get into and kind of reinvent. They've already worked on all these things, so we're just trying to, make it happen. Yesterday I had a really educational, whatever, we were talking about the City Walk. Have you guys heard of that term before? It's basically a loop that the Friends of Main Street, I think, helped promote. I don't know if a lot of people know about it. So Josh is big on signage, and I'm all over the place, as you can tell. So Jim Rollins, Tanya, I always butcher Tanya's last name, so she's Director of Recreation, and it was supposed to be Josh and Bart Clark, who's also from DPW. They couldn't make it, so we kind of did a limited version of, we started at Walker Field, walked around that part of the city loop, talked about the Sue Grossman at the skate park, walked around the river back there. It was actually a really nice opportunities for some kayak access. Then we went to the Mad River. I wish there was a better name for it. The Mad River Multi-Trail Recreation Complex. And I had never had a chance to see it. So basically at the end of Meadow Street and the end of Hubbard Street. I don't know if you're familiar with that. So the Dino Corporation property at 88 is where the trail essentially goes through their back parking lot. And if you ever have a chance to walk it, it's town land, you can go there. It's gorgeous. It's a beautiful rock cut for the old rail bed, and it goes to a waterfall, which I'm sure nobody knows is there.
Is that where the turntable was?
The turntable's on closer to John Street. This is beyond there.
Oh, okay.
It is the rail bed. I'm not sure, I don't think the town owns the actual railbed.
Yeah,
Yeah?
yep. It's the property below, you've probably seen with the little white building that's almost looks like an old carriage house, so I guess it was an oil.
It's a
Oh,
Place
yeah,
at one point.
the old fuel oil. there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is privately held, and I was talking with Gary, he said at one point they did come in for a subdivision approval, so I need to look through our files and see what that looked like.
I think they got it.
Okay. So, I mean, that's kind of a key piece to connect, in my mind, too, at the end of the road there in the trailhead park, which is all what Fit Together is promoting. And we are helping them go for the Trails Grant, that's due by March 1st. So originally I was hoping to do that for Tetros Park, and it doesn't make sense for us to compete with ourselves for that grant. So instead, I'm 100% in on what they have proposed for the multi-use trail for Mad River. It's gorgeous. I would recommend going out and checking it out. And so what was I going with City Walk? So City Walk is basically going to be the new connection from the end of Stu Grossman through downtown to that new trail system at the Mad River. And the reason why we didn't do the full plan like we did is because it's all part of the mill redevelopment project, so really needed Josh to be there. And then the potential for new circulation of the road system. And there's a few things that have to fall into place, but you probably know at Bridge Street and Prospect, that is a hot mess intersection, and they have plans for redoing that, so. But
How do you move Capilano out of there?
it's interesting you said that. So I wasn't planning on him moving out, but somebody said just recently that he might be interested in selling and closing. So I was like, so maybe there is an opportunity to talk about redevelopment for that
I would
site.
hate to see him leave the town, 'cause he's the only, well, not the only one, but, you know, one of the few repair shops in town.
Mhm.
But if you could get him out along maybe on the other side of the street from the town garage, up in there somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, definitely be open to talking with them, but I hadn't planned on them moving or closing or anything.
Well, it'd open up that intersection.
Right.
You could-
Well, do you know where Depot Street is?
Huh?
Depot Street. You were talking about is it Burwell?
Yeah, yeah.
So essentially, where Prospect would come, it would go to Depot instead of doing that weird little jagged thing to Willow. So that would be kind of one of the plans. The other talk was of doing a rotary there.
Rotaries, Connecticut's not. a place
Yeah,
for
it's
rotaries.
awkward. Josh really likes it. I think Jim is saying no.
Sorry.
That's a tough spot, I think, and it's not pedestrian friendly when you put a rotary, and that's right in the
No.
heart of where we want people walking around. So I don't know. We'll see. The things come, and that's really it. Not bad.
I got
10
one
minutes
more
over.
question. The
Yeah.
tree, you said there's some trees that have to be taken down?
Should be.
Or should be
They're
taken?
healthy trees, but would help if they're
Just how big are they?
good sized ones.
Oh, they're not like 4 or 5 inches?
No, they're pretty good size. That's why it would be a little bit of. I had trees taken down on our property. They were about the same size, and it can be expensive. But we'll see.
I'll add 2 more on my dirt road next time.
I know, we talked about those.
Would be
Motion
nice to
to
have
adjourn?
a, sorry. Would be nice to have a map of Winston when we're talking about these things.
Yeah,
Because
Oh, that's a
I
good
don't
point.
know where like.
I
a lot
know,
of
and I
these
only know
places
everything
are.
by address.
We
I'm
should
sorry.
pull one up
I
next
know, we
time.
should.
Yeah, we can. do
That's a
that.
good idea.
Okay. All right, sorry, go ahead.
Motion to adjourn? All in favor?
Aye.
Second. Did you find any insurance?
Okay.
Thank you.